I'm often asked, how do I explain divorce to my children? It really is going to vary based on the age of the children. I tell my clients, tap into all your resources. Start with your pediatrician. Ask your pediatrician, how do I bridge this gap? If the children are school aged, did you advise perhaps a social worker at your school to say, hey, if my child seems a little down or my child seems this, can you keep an extra eye out? And there are many skilled professionals that work in this space to guide not just children through the process, but parents. Oftentimes, these professionals work through the parents and never talk to the children at all, but they give the parents tools on how to explain what's happening to the children. There are countless books available, but the most important piece of advice I tell my clients is align with your spouse. If you can't agree on anything, and clearly you're getting divorced, you should be able to align around your children because you both love the children. Align on when you're going to tell them, what you're going to tell them, how you're going to remind them that you both still love them, although you don't love each other enough to remain married. Remind them that they're not going to be in the middle of this process, and remind them that you're never going to ask them to choose between both of their parents. These are some early guidance that I give every client, and children didn't ask to be a part of this divorce, so don't put them in the middle. How do you minimize the emotional toll of divorce on your children? Quite simply, keep them out of the process. I'm amazed at how professional, smart, loving parents leave court documents out in public sight. And by public sight, it's the kitchen table. We're working on a motion, and they leave their certification on the kitchen table. And lo and behold, oh my gosh, the children read the certification where you're saying horrific things about the other parent. Why would you allow that to happen? Why would you allow the children to be in earshot of you preparing for a mediation and you're talking to your lawyer about intimate details of the family's finances, about your fears about the future, and the children are within earshot and you're wondering why they're suffering? The children shouldn't suffer through this process because they shouldn't be a part of it, even if you're engaging a custody evaluator, because you cannot agree on custody. While the children are being interviewed by the evaluator, the children are being observed by this evaluator, the messaging to the child should be as simple and straightforward as possible. Both parents love you. We can't decide what to do, so we engaged a professional to help us through the process. It shouldn't be, I'm fighting your dad for custody. I'm fighting your mom for custody, and this doctor is going to decide where you get to live. Hear how that messaging is so different? Think before you speak to your children. They should be protected from the acrimony in this process. How do you maintain stability for the children during the divorce? The best words that I tell a client is maintain the status quo. That's what a judge would say. Absent domestic violence, the parents live in the same house and you maintain the routine as best you can. If you normally drop off and your spouse picks up from school, keep doing that. Why change the rhythm? The children are engaged in activities. They should continue to go to the activities. And yes, again, as long as there's no domestic violence in play, why can't you both show up at the soccer game? You stay over here, your spouse stays over there. The child should be able to enjoy having both parents see them play in the soccer game. When parents get divorced and they can't agree on custody, and it is this protracted, acrimonious custody battle, you read about them online, people start out their case going, this is going to be a custody battle. Think about what you're saying. You're battling the other parent for the children, but is it really for the children, or is it based on you wanting to win? The guidepost in New Jersey, the statute says we need to develop a custody and parenting time plan that's in the best interests of the children. But if we're busy trying to lop off the head of our soon-to-be former spouse, it's easy to lose sight of what's really best for the children. And long term, the children know that there's acrimony. They know that their parents don't say good morning to each other. They know that they have to get dropped off curbside at some police station. They know they have to get dropped off with a third party present because the parents can't agree, or The parents are videotaping the drop off and pick up because they need to gather that evidence for whatever's going to happen in the future. The best advice I could give parents of children that are getting divorced is what I saw an amazing judge do. We were in court. It's one of those heated custody battles, and it was Mother's Day weekend. And the judge said, "Mom, look at Dad. Dad, look at Mom. Dad, say, 'Good morning, Mom. Happy Mother's Day.' And Mom say, 'Thank you, Dad,' and take the children." He said, practice that, because on Sunday, you're going to do an exchange, and that's what your children need to witness. I tell that story again and again because that's how parents need to learn to co-parent. Your children didn't ask to be along this ride called divorce. Your children want to be loved by both parents. Your children want access to both parents. And truth be told, your children probably just want their life to stay the same. They just want their parents to get along. Keep that in mind. Make great decisions through the lens of what's best for your children, not what's best for you, and not what will stick it to your soon-to-be former spouse.